Hey family, welcome to Ignited Together. We are the Targots. This is where we share about God so that at least one soul may be saved. I'm Caroline and this is my husband.
Delroy.
And today we're going to talk about financial stewardship, talking about budgeting, tithing, and just overall generosity to others. So we're going to jump right into our discussion.
But before we do so, as usual, let us bow heads as we ask Caroline to pray.
Caroline Biz, that was not the plan. Let us pray. Oh gosh, sorry. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to share about your word and what you desire for us. Lord, as we discuss, I pray that the discussion will be fruitful and that someone's heart will be blessed and drawn closer to you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right.
Only been days, but it felt like months. When gone for a year, only know like once. Life moves fast when you go.
All right. So finances and marriage, financial stewardship, like when that comes to your mind, what are something that you want to share with people out there?
Okay, the first thing we have to bear in mind before we do have this discussion is that when we speak of financial issues and money, we need to view money as a spiritual issue and not just as a financial issue. But what does that really mean? Money as a financial issue, but not just as a financial.
Spiritual.
Sorry, money is a spiritual issue, but and not just a financial issue.
Mm-hmm. Well, I get you in saying that because everything in life is spiritual. Everything has, a spiritual backing. So of course, money is a very powerful thing, and it can be used for good and it can be used for bad. So naturally, there's a force behind it. And also if somebody has it, you can use it in a way that is not pleasing to God. And we can also use it to build up the kingdom. So
yes. So we have to also bear in mind that once we are dealing with money, it's basically not our home.
mm-hmm.
So we are basically what? We are basically stewards
of it.
We are basically stewards of it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And this can reflect our value and how we prioritize what we do with the money. Because money can either unite or divide us in our marriage.
Yeah. Backtrack, you said our values, because when people have money, that's usually what you see what's important to them. Because now, they can probably buy anything they want. So if you have money and now you start to see how you treat even your wife, your husband, or even your children. Some people have money, they show it to the world. They want fancy car. So can you imagine in a household, you have fancy car, but things in the house are not done, or you're not planning for the future of your children, kind of a thing. But you want to feed the multitude then. And nothing is wrong with feeding the multitude, but I've seen where people, they have a money, they have a change, as we would say, and they call all their friends and they're throwing big parties, and next few months or few weeks their family don't have something, or their mother is suffering in the country and they have money and they're would say feed people, give away and all of that, but your mother's suffering, or your people, your relatives, or your immediate family, or even your own child, right? So I just wanted to add that part of it under the value and priorities.
Yeah, so let's jump back to how can it divide or unite us. What comes to my mind when I saw this jump out at me, I remember when we were in our courtship stages, and like we were on a long ride most of the time from Montego Bay. I can remember some of the discussion that we have coming in about how do you see money or finances in our relationship, right? And we explicitly make it clear that we want to be able to unite together in that regard. One, we don't want a situation where one is doing something that the other one is not totally aware of, unless I'm trying to throw something for you that I don't want you to know. But that, yes, like a surprise, but that would not necessarily come from the fact that it is pulling from the pool that we together have decided on, right? So we know that without money, as I say, it takes cash to care. And if we do take cash to care, then there has to be a level of transparency in how we handle this, our financial life, because it's one of those key ingredients that breaks down a marriage, right? Yeah. When one is doing something that the other, you don't know anything about the person's finances, right? So you're supposed to know my finances, that if you see I'm rising above a certain level that you know I am, then it calls for question, where am I getting all this extra money from and all those. So it is very important.
And even if we think about any other aspect in like a company then, for example, when you have a company, like a big corporate company now, and you know, money is running low, you see the CEO and the board or whoever is running, all the directors, and so they come together and they say, hey, we need to cut. We need to come together and see where we can cut, and all the heads of the departments come and you say, okay, I'm not gonna buy that in my department. Down to even the maintenance department may start wiping, maybe buying less detergent, or saying, you know, they put up signs to say, you know, in the bathroom you have the blower, the dryer to dry your hands, and you have the napkin. You know, they'll probably put up signs to say, don't kill the trees or whatever. But you know, even though that's something for the environment, but you know, they're trying to cut costs in whatever way. Maybe they limit certain things in the organization because they're all united. Now, if it is a case where the CEO say, boy, the funds running low in the account, and you know, in order to continue to make this business profitable, and he keeps that to probably himself and the CFO and the whoever else, and the people at the bottom spending like crazy. I'm a worker and I say, oh, paper, just throw away the paper there, and we just, you know, we're doing our own thing. We are at the bottom, we are making the business crumble, but they're at the top. So there has to be that unity. So using that analogy to say, same thing in a family. In a family, we are our own local corporation, and if we don't connect to say, I have $100, you have $500, with the $600, we are going to do X, Y, and Z.
We have to prioritize what is important.
If we don't put it together, and you have your $500, and because your $500 big, you're gonna buy soda and cheese sticks, while me over here so can only buy a little lollipop. That's just a recipe for disaster, because you're going in that direction. You budgeting on your $100 and the next one budgeting on their $500. So instead of budgeting on $600 to say, this is what we have, this is what we're gonna do. So just that alone you can see how that can divide.
Yes.
And babes, there's a lot of people living like this that are married, whether we believe it or not. There's a lot of people.
So based on what you have just said, and now you move on to say there are a lot of people living like this. So I preempted you probably what you are going to come next. So I think it's only fair then for me to jump in and say right here that the importance of viewing finances as ours rather than mine and yours is critical in a marriage. So it's not mine and yours.
It's ours.
It's ours.
It's what, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think it comes with trust. When you have a oh Lord, lose my train of thought. When you have a relationship and you are not able to be transparent with your money, to say, boy, babes, me get an incentive, or the boss raise we pay. If we can't be transparent like that, when you cannot trust, or you find that I can't be transparent to say, boy, I get a raise, or I get some money. Maybe sister so and so bless us with some money, and I can be transparent to say it's $10,000. Then that leans into there's something. Maybe we don't want to admit it, but there's some lack of trust. There is something where I'm thinking that you're not thinking about the greater good for me, and I'm not thinking about the greater good for the entire
so
family.
That shows a level of selfishness, and you have something
and lack
to hide.
Of trust, yeah.
Like you're hiding something away. You see, because the stark reality, while we are in our relationship and we are a family and a unit, there's still a part that will come with just you alone. So I am not against the fact that you have some stuff that you want to do, but I am made aware of it. And you have your little here where you slash away your money. I have no problem with it. The problem comes when it's so like there's no level of transparency or trust, is when you keep on slashing away things and nobody knows about it, right? Yeah, that's where the problem. And in moments like this, financial stress often becomes emotional stress. Yes, it often becomes, because the fact is, I can't tell you when I don't have money to say.
Something just coming out of my mind.
To say, I love you. Listen, let me make it clear to the viewers out there and to ourselves. Any woman that is in a relationship and tells you that she doesn't need money, it's a lie. I make it very clear, it's a lie. Women like when they receive money from their partner.
Me tell her that?
No, it's a lie, because the reality is, even if they are earning money and you give it to them, even if they are going to spend it back on you, they like the idea to know that my partner is taking care of me in that regard.
Yes, because I think it's how we were made up. And me tell him straight up from before we even became a thing. I say, I want money. I want you to give me money for no reason at all. Just give me money. just send money to my account. Show me a screenshot in the WhatsApp, and I said thank you, and I grin off my teeth. That is what you understand. I think, and that's how I know the females. The females I know, that's how they operate too. So I'm not saying, obviously, based on what he said, yes, sometimes you get the money and you spend it back on the house just the same. But I think it's just the thought to say, I don't know, it's just something about getting money, I don't know, or spending money that doesn't belong to you, or just the thought of being taken care of. But you said something too, and I don't know, for some reason, the trust part lingering on my head, and I wanted to insert the fact that sometimes people are afraid to, or the emotional part of it too, people are afraid to go down into, or to share all of the money. So if I get 100,000, I tell you it's 70. Maybe there's a fear that maybe you, in this case, me no good with money, and you get the 100,000, right? And you say, there I get 70, because you know what, you're afraid that she's going to say, make we buy this and make we buy that. I don't know the money. And so because of that, now you snatch away something. So I think it can happen in a different way. You don't have to hide it, especially if you're hiding it in a way where you want it to go do something that's not conducive to the relationship or to the future. What can happen in a healthy way is, I got 100,000, but I'm putting aside this. And there no need to know where you put it. If you want to put it in a JMMB or in a Scotia Bank or wherever, and there no have no access to that money because you know say dear love spend, right? So you said that a for rainy day, or that a for, you understand? So I wanted to insert that, because the emotional part of it can be because you know. And sometimes when you're in a relationship, you see, because then tell we say, give when you learn at church, and so then tell us say, you give your husband, and usually the husband supposed to lead and all of that. But sometimes the husband can lead. Not my husband doing it, but sometimes the husband cannot lead, and I've seen it in relationships where the man is not good with the money or the woman is not good with the money. He knows I spend the money. So he knows that, all right, if we get this, even if we will have something for the future, because maybe Caroline is going to spend it. So you have to know who is that. And maybe it's one tight. So one on have to be the one we say, we could go on a cruise and live a little. Because why since we did have and the money in a bank and government get it. So yeah.
Guys, I want you to realize how expressive she is on this topic, you know,
Yeah.
right? Because this is a topic that we had a whole lot of discussion on, and I would encourage anyone who is getting into relationship that this becomes a topic that is discussed deeply. As I said, women like money, and my male friends, if you want to be at peace, ensure that you do what you are doing. You know, recently I remember getting some money, and just as I got the money, I just give everything to her, and she turned to me and said, "You really giving me everything?" Yeah, I gave it to her. Why? It's a means for me to also get added information about her that probably I might not have picked up before. Because he used to talk about one spending everything and all of those things. Maybe I'm trying to get some of those information, but I really give it to her true heart because she really deserves it.
Oh, you talk about by yourself. Anyways, made it feel good. It feel good when me getting money because I love get money. Anyways, what else?
No, so we have to look at it that we are stewards, right? And the fact that we are stewards, or we prioritize what God has blessed us with or put us in charge of, will tell us what we do, as we pointed out before. And Matthew chapter 6 and verse 21 fix this very nicely. It says that where your treasure is, there your heart will be.
Also.
So anywhere, anything that you cherish, that's where you're going to spend your money from. And for further clarity on that, for those of you, you can also look at Luke chapter 16, verses 10 and 11, and Proverbs 3, verses 9 and 10. Will give you some clear understanding about finances and how you are to be steward as God has blessed us with, right? Now, but what we also have to be careful about, is this, that we do not take up the bad attitude of what our parents did before as it relates to finances. Now, how did our parents, growing up, observing them, how did they handle their finances, and how is that shaping our view and relationship?
Yeah.
That's something that we have to look at, right? So that must be discussed, right?
And it plays out in our lives, whether we believe it or not. And it's not just what we saw, but also just certain concepts. Maybe it's the opposite of what we saw.
Yes.
So if you grew up in a house where maybe your family had to struggle, then now you realize that you want to give your child, you don't want them struggle. No, I'm not promoting struggle because I'm not for that either. But the principles, I grew up in a humble situation, right? And the principles that I have, if I'm trying to omit that from our children's life, then they will not get the principles that we got. We know what it is to not have food, but we're happy same way, and we know, so we not beg, and we don't go on the street and be like, boy, my mother not have nothing, or my father not have nothing, and act worse off. We put on our clothes, we bathe, and we look good same way, and we carry on. But if those principles, we may not be able to instill that in our children, because guess what? We grew up seeing struggle, so we say we now make our kids struggle. So all when we not have it, we are borrow, we are beg, and that puts a strain on the finances in our life. No, because we are trying to do the opposite, right? So I hope you're getting what I'm trying to say in that explanation, to say we have to be careful of trying to do the opposite of what we saw. And also to not to pressure. A lot of time people give up the person that God has probably ordained for them to be with, because they don't come in the package that you ideally thought about. Maybe you want tall, dark, and handsome and rich, and the person is not rich, or the person is not tall or whatever.
But you're fortunate to get all of that ingredient.
Jesus. Anyway.
I'm just saying.
Anyways.
I'm speaking things into being.
Anyways, sometimes we are looking for certain things because of how we grew up. So how we grew up in handling money, you say, okay, a father must handle money, wife must stay home and no work, and the man must bring in the bread. What if when you get big, that's not the case? You, the female, is the breadwinner, right? So we have to be careful of those things that would have shaped our views growing up and make sure that that doesn't mess up our life. No.
Yeah. Because if we are not aware of those things that shape us, then when certain things arise, you are going to be in conflict, and that is going to cause separation and division. And listen to me, these are things that, listen to me, practically they will happen. There are times when even discussion that you didn't dream of when it comes on to finances will come up. Make sure that everybody is calm, have a level eye, realize that we are in this thing together. Right? It's not me, you,
and the free.
right? So we all have to be, and we have to remember in our handling of our finances, try to keep it in line with what God has designed for us. And we have the money, we have been spending. Have you ever had money and you just spend, and all of a sudden you say, whoa, where have all that money gone? I have not seen anything that, you have purchased with the money.
Well, no, me see what me purchase with the money, but yes.
But sometimes that do happen and you say, but we did have X amount of money today or yesterday, but it just gone. So because guess what? You were not keeping a track of what you were spending the money on. And that's why this leads us to a very important point in that in handling our finances, budgeting is quite important.
Yes.
Right? Why? Why budgeting is important? Because it what? A budget what gives direction to your money instead of wondering where it went. Right? So in budgeting, we have to have clear financial goals. Right? And it's not my goal taking precedent over your goal or your goal taking precedent over mine. It's not what you wanted to spend and in opposed to what I want. There has to be a common ground. Right?
Yeah. So here's what I would say. Sit down together and talk about where you see yourself in three years, and be real, and don't lie to yourself, because some people lie to yourself, babes. You say you want flashy things.
And I like that term that you need, because that is another year that to go. We must be able to identify the difference between need and want. There's always going to be some wants, but when there's a conflict between needs and want, yeah.
So there's a few things that I've learned about in terms of budgeting. It is there are different ways to do your budget too, but you have to have one of the things that we did this year is we made a goal sheet to say, all right, we want this in the first quarter, or you need to do this by 6 months into the year. And you kind of give yourself a timeline. Now everything may not work as you write it, how you want it, but at least you have a direction to say, there we want to do this. And then we can even review and say, boy, we never accomplished these things, even though we say we wanted, and then we can regroup and plan again. But you have to do that. You have to make your want things, and one can be simple. I want a smartwatch. I want a new bed. I want a handbag. And something that I heard that I like is have like, let's say you have 100,000 as the pool that comes into the house. Then you can say, of the 100,000, 5,000 a year money. Meaning anything you want.
Anything I want to spend that without even telling
and
you.
I have another $5,000. So if me want to go buy KFC, me go buy KFC. Just saying. You know, whatever you want to go get, you can get. If you want to give it away, give it away.
So
And
that would
has
not
nothing to
be
do.
a need. That would be just your
Yes,
wants.
it's just your play money, as they would say. Your play money, you do what you want to do it. And if you want to save it, you save it. And then you also have to give account in the budget for things. Okay, haircut, hairstyle. If you do your fingernail, little things that you want, your little trinkets that you need.
And also things that you are not readily seeing, that eventually something there should be that line item,
emergency fund,
or something
and your security funds. And as if you have children, how them will go to college, start thinking about that now, because they're 2 years old. They say we have time. Or this statement that I hate to hear, if when people they say, you ask about family planning, and they say, well, if they come, they have to eat. It's not just about if the child, if they come, they're going to eat.
It's more than about
it's more
eating.
What are they eating? Are you going to give them Lasco? Lasco give worm, right? No harm to Lasco, because I love Lasco, right? But I'm just saying, I don't like that statement, because it just sound careless. Like, yes, if they come, they have to feed, like any type of food. No, think about it. What you want for your child, what you envision. What if your child have potential to be a doctor? What if your child have potential to be an astronaut or some engineer, some major something? You have no plan to give that child any jump start, then go just kill them potential because you fail to plan. So you have to plan out that, okay, what kind of schooling could go, when tertiary education could look like. So those are things. Health, you have to also think about that. How are we going to live if, God forbid, something happen? We have one little money put down. You may not have all of it. Do you have health insurance? Stuff like that. Those are the money that you put aside little by little, and it seem, foolish at first, because you say, boy, I'm not doing, we just pay this and we just pay this. Maybe stay so. I thought about that. But then as you get older, you really start to think, to say, but and you start seeing people that are probably your age group that are getting sick or dying. You have to think about that. Retirement as well is another one, right? A lot of us, and I say us because I'm a part of it too. Where, as you say, God I gotta come. That's something I used to say. God, we know God I come for true. But it's like, so God I gotta come before me get old.
But someone who is wise would realize that while we are making preparation for the life to come and not to ultimately stay here, we still have to occupy while we're here. So are we just going to just be careless and just live a life that has no meaning?
And when you're old,
and when we are in wants and need, we have to go and beg and
stress out your children.
You understand? And the major purchases
is also
something. But one thing I want us to realize is that when you are making these budget and these plan, right, there has to be time when you sit down and review these plans, because things can change. There has to be change. There might be changes that needs to be made to one or two of a line item because of where your financial position is right now. Maybe a health problem came in that has to take away a portion of the fund. Maybe you have to make a big investment, and you have to redo things, right? So it's all important that we sit down and have regular financial meeting.
Yes.
It's not about just setting the thing one time and let it go like it's an autopilot. There have to be meaning, because sometimes we can do more and we are doing less than what we can do. Or sometimes we are doing more than what we can really manage at the same time. So if we plan all of these stuff and put them into perspective, when it comes down to a relationship and people emotionally stable and happy in their relationship, it all has to do with how we work together. Because financial matter in any relationship can become a nightmare. It can become an headache. I don't want my wife to be in that amount of need. And I tell her, and she's going, but darling, I love you. The true reality is, babes, is that you cannot eat the love.
Love can put by fire.
Yeah, you can't. So we have to plan, and don't be selfish in our planning and thinking about a bad end to a relationship. You are in it, so stay in it and give your all to it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you covered that. So we are going to pause for this episode. It's very interesting, a topic that I'm, as you shared it, I'm passionate about, because I've seen that, this can be a make or break of relationship, right? And it's very important. They said that the top things in a relationship is finances and sex, and I don't remember if there was a third one, but those two things are top reasons why people break off. But anyway, we are going to have a part two, because there's more to unpack in this under this topic. So thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. And if you have not done so already, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with at least 2 friends in your contact.
So the message can be spread far and wide. Very important topic. So subscribe, share it, as Caroline has rightly said. So it's bye for now from this week's topic, and see you in part two, when we'll dig deeper into some other aspect as it relates to the financial matter in our relationship. God bless you. Bye.